This is Charlie Newton, your art teacher, here one more time for a live splash art class. So kids, today we're going to once again talk about contour and gesture drawing. And then we're going to do what's called a finished drawing. So we're going to first review what gesture is and review what contour is. So basically gesture is when you draw what the thing is doing. It's a very fast drawing and your eye just makes an impression. That is a gesture drawing. Now the contour drawing is much slower. So I'm going to go fast in doing this contour drawing. You actually in contour drawing, you never look at the paper. I'm going to do more gesture and contour drawing in the future. And you draw the outline or the contour of the object. So I drew the lumps and bumps. You should not look at the paper at all. When you first start doing contour drawing, you're going to automatically look at the paper. You should not pick your pencil up. So I always like to say, imagine that you are an ant crawling on the object. And so the lines show you where you're crawling. What this does is train your eye. It teaches your eye, trains your eye how to not just look at something, but how to see it. I'm going to draw this ridge because a lot of times when you're drawing, you miss things. I miss things. Now I'm going to go back up here and draw more detail. So even though I'm doing this contour drawing pretty fast, this should actually take about 15 minutes to do. You should slow your eye slow your mind way down. So see the difference in the contour drawing and the gesture drawing? I'm not trying to make my contour drawing look exactly like the object because I can't, because I'm not looking at the paper. The more of these you do, the more it's going to look more realistic. But you have to do a lot of them. It's practice. So my first approach is the gesture. I'm trying to find where I'm going to place this thing in space and where it is. So I'm actually doing a gesture right now with this sketch. You see that? I'm actually utilizing gesture to try to decide, where this might be in space. I'm not making any final decisions. So, some people when they draw, they draw contour drawings. They don't know they're doing contour drawings, but they're doing contour drawings, and they think that's a finished drawing. But you're making all kinds of mistakes, and that's why you're not happy with it in the end. So I can change everything. I just want to sort of place how big is this going to be on the paper. Just those type of things. Now I'm going to go back and do a contour. Drawing. So my eye is tracing around this handle. I'm trying to slow my mind down. I'm drawing fast because, this is a demonstration for you guys. So. Guys, when we can get back together, I have some tricks that I'm utilizing that I'm not going to talk about now. But of course, when you're drawing, you don't want to draw as fast as I'm drawing right now. You want to slow it down. You have all the time in the world. The drawing's not finished until you say it's finished. This is not easy for me. I'm trying to find this object in space. This is, technically, this is a still life drawing. I don't do much of this anymore because my technique that I'm using now is not so traditional. So practice makes perfect. Now I have not been practicing drawing this way. I'm usually painting, and I draw just for my painting, and so I really don't put a lot of detail in my drawings for the paintings because I'm making my paintings a little bit more expressive and interpretive. But this is the foundation. So you need a strong foundation, and then you can abstract all you want to. You should know how to do this. Any fine artist or visual artist, this is my opinion, but this is the truth. You should learn how to draw, so that when you will be able to express yourself more accurately with your abstract approaches and with your painting. Train your eye. Now, there's something about drawing and about making art. I paint a lot. That's all that I do. And I only need the gesture for my paintings. I just make a gesture, and my gestures they are real gestures. But if I wanted to start doing more realistic drawings or paintings, and I want that to be my oeuvre, if I want that to be my style, I would draw this type of drawing. I would do this every day, and by the time I got to the 20th drawing, it may happen before I get to drawing number 20, it would be almost super realistic. And the reason why I know this is because I used to make a living drawing portraits. And it didn't take me 20 pictures. It took me about 8 pictures to get my chops back. So same thing. It's similar to anything. If you're exercising and you've stopped exercising, you have to start slowly, stretching and warming up. It takes you a little while to get back to where you used to be. what I'm noticing now is this negative space. This space here behind the object is called negative space. And that's what I'm drawing. I said I wasn't going to talk about that. I need to save something for the art classes after the pandemic. But anyway, that just slipped out. I can't help it. When it comes to art, I'm a natural teacher. Whenever I'm talking to somebody, I love sharing. I mean, that's what, for me, personally, that's what life is about. It's about sharing. It's not all about me and what I can do for myself. That's half of life. But that's pretty even. For me, life is about sharing. I may spray this. I may not. I don't know. So you see these sketch lines? So you see the contour and the gesture have sort of come together to help me find this object in space. And nothing's set in stone. Anything can change. Now, I'm not going to be able to change everything that I see because, we have a limited amount of time. But if I was just doing this in my studio, I don't care if this took 3 days to finish. I wouldn't care. I'm trying to make some type of statement, and it might take 3 days. Also, I would not be drawing on a drafting table, so this is different for me. Usually I draw either on the wall, paper hanging on the wall, or a canvas on the wall, or an easel. I don't draw on drafting tables, but for these live feeds, I use a drafting table so that we can place the camera above. I don't always do the live feed on drafting table, but it works better. Okay, so there's still a lot of changes that need to be made on this. And that's what I would do, change my mind about something. I'm going back over it. And see, I'm doing contour. I'm doing a contour right here. So I like where that's hitting. Now I do my contour over here. I let my eye travel and my pencil travel with my eye. I'm going to change this a little bit. I'm going to let this curve around a little bit more on this left-hand side. My pencil follows my eye. As my eye moves, I coordinate my pencil with my eyes, hand-eye coordination. And a lot of you kids, you gamers especially, you have that already. I'm going to make this. So let me say this. I'm not trying to be a photograph. Even if I'm doing realistic, I'm not trying to be a photograph. I'm not trying to be a camera. I'm trying to be a human being that's drawing what they see. And all human beings see differently. And we react to things differently. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to express myself honestly. I was talking to an artist yesterday, and he didn't know that I can talk art for hours. So anyway, and we was talking about things. I mentioned expressing yourself honestly. And that's what being honest about your abilities and your talents and working hard, that's what it does for you. Being focused on the thing that you say you love and doing your best, giving 100% to whatever it is you're doing. It will, in art, it will help you to focus, to express yourself honestly. And I got that from Bruce Lee, the martial artist. The older people know who Bruce Lee is. So you can learn from, if I'm just cleaning up around, I erased a bit that I didn't want to. So I chose this teapot when I bought it because of the design. Art is so important for all children. Art is so important because I only bought this teapot because of how it looked. That's the value of design. And design is storytelling. So the artist who designed the teapot, the artist and engineer who designed this teapot, did it in such a way that somebody like me would come along and say, I gotta have that. Why do you have to have it? I don't know, but I have to have it. My favorite colors, the shapes. What I'm doing now with the color pencils, I'm putting the highlights in. This is a type of lemon yellow. What is it called? Chartreuse. chartreuse. And I'm using, this is Barrel Prismacolor. Oh, I'm glad I'm using Prismacolor. Is one of the best color pencils. That's just Prismacolor. So when the light hits this teapot, even though it's a dark green, when the light hits it, it turns into a chartreuse or a light green. Now, colored pencil, this paper is grainy. It's 90 pounds, so you can see grains. This paper I would normally use for watercolors or chalk pastels. Real good. We're going to have to do some chalk pastels. I'm going to get some pastels to you kids. Anyway, you can actually, with pastels or even with color pencils, you can make color pencils look like paint, but it takes time. Now, if this paper was a little smoother, you wouldn't see the grains. So this, I'm just using my eyes now. This is contour drawing. I'm touching. I am running as I run my eyes over this kettle, I'm also running my eyes, my fingers. I imagine I'm running this pencil lead over the kettle. I'm touching the kettle with my eyes, touching it. It's just like I have my pencil over here painting the kettle. And this year, in 2021, I'm going to reveal to you more of how I personally approach art and drawing and painting, because that's what defines my style and my way of looking at things and my way of thinking in the whole 9 yards. Now, like I say, this is not my usual. I have different. This is Crayola right here, which is not as good of a color pencil. If I remember, I'll bring my set of color pencils in because the colors are richer. So I'm trying to find a dark green. And I only have it, excuse me, in Crayola. You can also mix markers with this. So when you're making art, whatever works. See, this green is not as dark as I want it to be. Oh, I found a green. You notice I put white on this side before? I found a green that I can color over this white that's going to really work lightly. The pressure is important that you use. Sometimes you use little pressure when drawing. Sometimes you use a lot of pressure. And you make that decision. You have to make those decisions about how much pressure to use. Man, if I was in my studio drawing, see, now I want to run and go get a certain pencil, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So now, I told you that so that you would know what is my mental capacity, what's going through my head when I'm drawing or painting. Is that I got to make this work, and whatever it takes to make it work. Now I'm just going to use what I have to make it work. Okay, so if I go to my studio, and it would take time for me to find my colored pencils, then I would try to find a dark color. I have this one that I'm going to use in a minute that's closer to what I see. But what if you don't have the colors that you see? Picasso put it like this. Think about this. When I don't have blue, I use red. That statement is awesome. Basically what he's saying, there are no limitations. You know, red and blue are opposite on the color spectrum. And because of that, if I don't have blue, I'll use red. So that says it all. I'm the artist, and it's what I say it is. I'm the creator. I don't care. I'm not held captive to this inanimate object. I am in control. I decide what the picture looks like in the end. I am not a camera. This green I'm using here is called jade green. It's a different hue. And then I'm going to go over this jade green with white again. In fact, I'm going to make that a little wider. See, that's why you can't rush it, because I'm seeing a whole lot that I didn't see at first. I'm seeing a whole lot that I didn't see at first. I'm seeing it in a different way. So this side is going to be wider. This lighter green, muted, it's a muted type of green, where I mix the jade with the white. Now I'm going to make this side wider too, the right side. So I'm trying to get some funds so I can really show you some painting techniques and take you through. Since we are online, there's a lot, the possibilities are tremendous. You can learn a tremendous amount in these classes, more than when we have a classroom full of students. Actually, it's a different type of thing that you can learn. And if I can get the funding, I'm going to show you some of those things. Because art supplies cost money. And that's why at Splash, we make sure that our kids have access to art for free. Because art is for everyone. And your social, economic status should not determine whether you can go to a gallery or take an art class. Shouldn't have to pay for everything. And the best things in life are free. Anybody ever heard that before? I'm going to put some real pressure on the pencil. And I'm probably going to go over this heavy pencil. You see the little white in there? That's the grain of the paper. If I had smoother paper, you wouldn't see that, and it would look more like paint. But that's okay, no problem. Now, just because I want this to I decided to go to draw this edge here. I could have left it white, but I decided to draw it. Why? Because I felt like it. See, now the picture is mine. I am not a slave to the object because I'm not a camera. A camera is a slave, a type of crutch. Also, it can become a crutch just trying to make something look realistic. Now, you should be able to make something look realistic if you want to, though. And then from that, you can begin to express yourself. Similar to classical music. I just saw something, oh man, anyway, I may not be able to do. In classical music, you learn the notes. You learn the way to play, the basics. But then at some point, when the orchestra is playing, they are interpreting what the director is feeling. That's why the orchestra need a director for the interpretation. So at some point you put your own interpretation into your art, be it music, dance, what have you. We see with the b-boys and the street dancers and the break dancers, that's what they're doing. They put their own interpretation into it. Now, colored pencils, as you can see, it looks different than paint. When I'm using watercolor, I want the color to look like water. There's a beauty in the medium. I may come back and do some color pencil on some hot press or cold press paper to show you the difference. And to show you what's possible. So all I'm doing now is contour. I'm doing contour drawing. I'm still touching the object with my mind. I imagine that my pencil is touching the object. I'm going to have to. This year, Splash students, you're going to have an opportunity that's very rare. It's very rare that an artist will show you their techniques. There are basic techniques like what we're doing today. This is how you learn. This is your practice. But this is not my technique. This is just some basic color pencil. But this year, we can get some help from some of these arts organizations who has helped us in the past. You'll get a chance to see what really happens in the studio. I'm so excited about the possibility, just the possibility of that happening. So you guys keep your fingers crossed that we get these grants we're trying to get. And I'm going to share Charlie Newton's techniques online. And that's sort of revolutionary because people may get mad at me for doing that too. I don't know, but I think art is for everyone. So let's make it for everyone. And I want, especially Black students, I want you to learn as much as possible, and I want you to be better at me in drawing. Some of you are already better than me. You just don't work as hard as you should. Nobody's gonna outwork me in this. Okay. So now I'm gonna go to black. See if I can find a black color pencil. Color pencils, drawing with color pencils will make you a better drawer. It'll make you a better painter as well. Now I want this to look like a drawing. I want it to look like it's a color pencil drawing. Like I say, you can make it look like, if I had different paper, I could make this look like paint if I was using a paper with less texture. I mean, if I wanted to use a marker, if I wanted to get a paint-like look, with this, I could mix the mediums. I could use markers. I could go back over this with markers, which, depending on time, I may decide to do. But mainly, I just want you to see the gesture, which laid this down. I laid this in with a gesture drawing. I found the object. And now I'm basically using contour. The attitude of just looking, trying to draw what I see, slowing my mind. I'm trying to slow my mind down. Well, my mind has slowed down. I've slowed that down so I can see. And I'm seeing more and more. You don't see a lot when you're doing gesture because you are drawing fast. You're feeling with your eyes. Now, how do you want the drawing to feel when a person look at it, when you look at it? How should it feel? How does it feel when you look at the object? A good practice would be to draw this object in color pencil and then draw it again and paint it with watercolors. That's a great exercise for you to do. And you'll be able to see the difference in the mediums and why you would use a certain medium for a certain effect that you want to get. I need to find my kneaded erasers. I don't think I thought I had some in here, but normally I would not erase this with an art gum. I would use a kneaded eraser. And I thought I had one in here. And everything gets junky because I don't have time to clean up. So I'm drawing the shadows. These shadows are actually reflections on this metal. If I make this line here heavier, it brings it forward in space a little bit. I'm going to be liberal with the black. I'm going over it with black, drawing reflections in the metal that creates highlights. And describe the shape. And the last thing I may do is go back with white. I don't know how this is. Let's see. Oh, it looks okay. Yeah, I was wondering how this would look on camera. It looks all right. I put this tissue here to keep my hand off the paper. Now I'm doing contour for real now. For real. Because there's hand grips in this handle. I don't have to accentuate that, but I decided I wanted to. And this little bit here, I can see part of the tip of this handle. And just the way I am, I just wanted to show that. I'm going to take my light blue pencil if I can. I'm going to end up using some light blue anyway. I'm going to draw the light hitting the top of that handle with light blue and white. Put a little white there. I'm going back with black. The handle is black, but you can see the shape of it. It's round, it's sort of oval. It's an oval shape. It's not flat. So that shows that's the top of the handle, and this is the side of the handle, and then it's still oval. So I'm going to shade that lightly there. I go back with black. So that you know it's a dark handle. Now this color pencil feels waxy, like it's waxy, unlike a regular pencil, which is it's graphite, which is chalky, like charcoal. And you can feel it, it's soft. The color pencils are soft, and you can feel it. So again, I'm drawing the reflections in the metal. Contour. I've already decided where the lines are, and now I'm just trusting what I decided, since I'm actually coloring with the color pencil. Now, find some pots and pans at home and practice drawing those. Tools, man, there's an artist, Jim Dine, who became a millionaire drawing tools. So tools are beautiful because they've been designed by engineers to do a job, and there's a lot of tools are just beautiful, but they're also great to practice your drawing with. And another thing that's great to practice drawing with is nature. Man-made objects are easier to draw than God-made objects. So man took this metal, which is probably steel, out of the ground, forged it, formed it, shaped it, hammered it, to change it to something that we could use. And so this man simplified the metal as far as visually what it looks like. But another way to get better at drawing is to draw from nature. Landscape, flowers, that type of deal. I'm still doing contour. Contour lets me see the small things. That's the contour state of mind. I know that line, I actually put more pressure on this line than I'm going to put on this one. Then I'm going to put even less pressure here and less there. So I've been wondering if I'm going to do this. I've decided I am. I'm going to go back over this whole thing with black. And some parts may work and some parts may not. I have time to do that. I'll put some pressure now with the color pencil. Now you can put more pressure with color pencil than regular graphite pencils, because color pencils are soft and they're not going to leave a residue. The graphite will leave graphite. It will make the paper shiny when you put too much pressure. So you have a little bit more options with color pencils as far as weight and pressure. Now, I've taped my paper down, so I can't turn it around unless I take up the tape. So now I have to turn my hand around like this, trying to get a smooth line here. So I had to turn my hand upside down, or take the paper up. But I think I can do it without taking the paper up. It's important that this mark here is higher than this one here. Because I want this thing to look like it's in space, 3D, a little bit more round. So by doing that, I place this part of the teapot, the kettle, in front of that part. This would be fun to paint too. I mean, since I just love art, this is something boring. You would think it would be boring, but once I start drawing, now I'm learning, and so it's no longer boring to me. It's fun. It's fun because I'm an artist. Now, usually, again, I would turn this upside down, but now I'm just trying to turn my hand around for expediency. I'm looking at the shape of these shadows and where they are placed in relationship to the green shadows. It's really a continuation. And these curves here help describe the curve of this base that the kettle is on. Now, I should mention, I don't think I've done a color pencil drawing. Did I use color pencils with the comic strips? I think I did. Maybe I did. But it had been years. Last month I did some comic book characters, and I think I used color pencil. But it had been, I could say, 40 years or more since I used color pencil. But I keep them in my studio. Now these are the pencils, what I'm using now are pencils that you kids use in the studio. It's the same pencils. They're not my personal set. And same pencils that you have in your art set that I gave to you last year. So you can get the same effect. I try to use, in these demos, I try to use what I've given to my students. So, what I'm going to do now, and it's just the way I do things, I want to unify this drawing a little bit more. So I'm just going to go back over everything with black. Then I may go back with white just to unify it even more. So I'm going back the shadows. I'm going to darken the shadows with black. I'm not digging in to the paper. I'm not putting a lot of pressure, just lightly. So whenever you are drawing or painting, just keep drawing until you think it's time to stop. You can overwork things, which I've done many times, and you can underwork it. If you underwork it, you can fix it. If you overwork it, it's ruined forever. So try to get right up there to that edge. To what, if I did anything else, it's going to be too much. But then that's when you stop. Now, I know I'm getting close to time to finish because I'm getting hungry. remember to change up the pressures when you're drawing. When something appears lighter, you put less pressure. When something feels darker, you put more pressure. So sometimes my dark lines describe, like these lines I'm making now describes the shape, and sometimes my lines indicates the color. You need to decide what is doing what for yourself. And where did I put all my pencils? I threw them over here. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. So I'm going to bring some of this highlight down here for unity. Bring some of this green down. Everything is a reflection. Everything that we see reflects. There's some kind of reflection. The painters, see, who were they called? The Impressionists discovered that. That's what their art was about. It was about color and light. So light reflects on everything and bounces the color around everywhere. I'm going to use this chartreuse to cast this shadow. When you're drawing too, do not hold your utensils too tight. I'm using the side of the pencil, not the point. I'm not using the point. have several light sources, so the shadows are doing some strange things, but I'm not going to draw all the shadows. I'm just going to indicate. I'm barely touching the paper. See how I'm holding my pencil? Pressures mean everything. So this is how you have to learn how to finesse things, your materials. And everybody has a different style, so I understand that. You're not going to do things exactly the way I do it. But for now, for what we're doing now, you may as well learn these little techniques. And then you will create your own techniques later. I'm going to stop that right there. Put your name on it. I'm not going to put my age on it, but you put your age on it. Let me see what you've been doing. I have enjoyed drawing my favorite tea kettle, and I hope you have too. We will be back on Saturday from 11 to 12, every Tuesday from 5 to 6, and well, Tuesday and Thursdays from 5 to 6, and Saturdays from 11 to 12. You can also find these classes posted on YouTube, and you can find them on Facebook as well. Charlie Newton's page, Facebook, Splash Youth Arts Workshop Facebook page, and Splash Summer Arts Festival Facebook page. So thank you so much, and don't forget to buy your Tennessee state license plate. And thank you to all our sponsors and people. Until next time, remember, art is for everyone. Bye-bye.